volunteer members of our collective. The purpose of all these is to provide many different ways to increase brain health and well-being that visitors can explore in one place, Inspiration Island. Happened to my little thingy here. Okay. They can discover what works best for them by trying out various possibilities, and in the process they can build new healthy habits. This is a form of brain training that transfers easily and naturally to life beyond the computer. To accomplish this, our goals, we want to collect meaningful data that helps us make good decisions about program development. As a nonprofit, we also hope to get funding to support the cost of our project. So we ask ourselves these kinds of questions. What draws our visitors and brings them back? What doesn't? How can we interact better with our visitors? Many visitors have become collective members over time. How can we increase our visibility in SL and beyond? How do we want to evolve in what we call this great experiment of whole brain health? I'm very fortunate to have the help of Koolhoven, Fran, and Thuja Hynes. You've always wondered how to pronounce your name right. It's Thuja, who have been with this project from the beginning. They keep finding new ways to answer these questions and ask even better ones. Today we've come here to share, in the language of our logo, some of the innovative, inspiring, interactive tools and resources we use to help WBH change. Most of them have been made by Fran and Thuja or other collective members for our specific needs. Before I end this introduction, I do want to show off the greatest resource I myself depend on for this project, our Inspiration Island Collective. I hope it's up there, is it? Yep. Great. Thank you for them. Every year since 2014, Thuja has taken a picture of the collective. This has become quite a challenge as our numbers keep growing. Where do we find enough pose balls? You can see this photo at our exhibit for the conference. The Lotus, a miniature Inspiration Island, was built by Cat's Eye, Fran, and Thuja for the conference. There, if you go there, you can see many of the tools we'll show you today. You can look at them more closely. Now we're going to start off with Fran. Fran?
Thank you, Liz. Welcome, everybody. I'm Koolhoven, or Fran, and I've been with Whole Brain Health since its inception. Besides serving as an estate manager and a media director, my special talent has always been creating scripted tools to help us accomplish the goals of our organization. I'll be going over a few of these today, along with a few tools created by others. Before we get into my portion of the slide presentation, I'm going to start off by showing you one of my favorite builds, our WBH welcome board and calendar. And I will put it out. Oh my goodness. I don't want to wear it. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. Actually, I need to catch up with this. Anyway, let's get back to the welcome board. It has maps for each of the 4 levels of Inspiration Island, which you can select by clicking one of the buttons above the map. And you're welcome to try this out as far as checking the different buttons. Just don't teleport out. There's also a special map on here called More that shows other locations separate from the 4 main levels. If you're on Inspiration Island, you can join our experience, and that's going to let you teleport directly to any map location just by clicking one of the venues listed on the map. Next to the welcome board is an attached calendar that uses media on a prem to show updated events. You can click on the front of that and it should show you the Google Calendar. And not only does it show events for Whole Brain Health, it also shows them for other sims or groups that are affiliated with us in some way. Also, I'd ask you to please click on the button marked Navigation HUD at the top left of the board. That will give you a navigation HUD that you can wear later when you visit, and it will let you do pretty much everything you can do from the welcome board. You can find these welcome boards scattered all around the different levels of Inspiration Island. And here's another tool that we use a lot on the island. I call it the seating in the round tool, which I sell on Marketplace. It's okay. I just wasn't sure if it was out there yet. Anyway, the seating tool allows you to res any number of seats in a circle or elliptical pattern, as well as add seats or remove seats as needed. And it's, I'm sure there's others available and out there, but the nice thing about this one is that you can use any chairs that you have, as long as they're modifiable and copyable. So we use that quite a bit throughout the island. Thanks to you. And before we get to the slides, I'm going to show you the standalone teleport kiosk. And this is something that you'll see throughout the Inspiration Island. And it lets you teleport directly to other kiosks located on the sim. You just click it, and this one is non-functional, but the ones on the island, you click and you get a menu of other locations. And we have 66 different destinations you can teleport to using these kiosks. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start into the slideshow presentation now. The first thing I'll show you is our admin Skybox. And this is where we house many of our tools, both ones that I made and ones made by others, by other collective members. Now, we use a security orb in there, one that I made, that only allows access for avatars belonging to our land group. So if you manage to end up there for some reason, we will send you a polite message and then gently send you somewhere else on the sim. And we don't, it's just basically there's no reason for anybody to be there other than administrators. So, but we are very polite about it. And if you were to camera above the Skybox, this is what you would see. We've mapped out platforms to represent each parcel on Inspiration Island, and we place special tools on them that I'll talk about in a moment. First tool I'll mention in the Skybox is our security drone system. Although this is not one I made, it's important to talk about. It was created by another talented member of our collective, Maximilian Merlin. The drone that you see in the red circle can be summoned by any administrator or program host and can be used to quickly eject a griefer from the entire region. In the previous slide, I showed you a view from directly above the admin Skybox. On each of those colored platforms, we have placed two tools. The left one is a relay box for Max's security drone system. So if an avatar is banned from one parcel, this will ban it on all other parcels as well. The blue box on the right is one that I created to periodically check the about land flags for each parcel. And if it detects that certain flags have been enabled, specifically I'm talking about allow everyone to create, allow object entry, or allow terraforming, then it's going to send a message out to all officers warning them that this has been changed so that they can go back and disable the flags. We do allow building for all during certain programs, so this check is included mainly as a precaution. And it has been very useful in many cases, because when things have when we've forgotten to change things back. Within the admin Skybox, I created a tool that both greets visitors on a daily basis and also counts unique visitors every 2 minutes and keeps track of where they visit. This allows Thuja to create useful spreadsheets and graphs telling us what areas of the sim are most visited and which ones might need more attention. To the right are subscriber boards. Again, not something I created, but they allow us to send out messages to avatars who have chosen to subscribe to our groups rather than join them. Also in the admin Skybox, we keep our in-tan dance servers to power the dance balls we use at different events. Again, not something that I created, but another useful tool we have available for the social programs. And on the right side of the image is another cube, and I'm really proud of. And I don't want to brag on myself, but I really like the way this is working so far. And it's a tool that uses a Chord bot to to automate our group notices and group IMs. We load it with note cards telling it what notices to send out at different times on different days, and it pretty much sends everything out at the proper date and time. And it was a pain to set up, but now that it's set up, it pretty much is set it and forget it. We use it for everything on here now. And just so that you'll know, Chord is a freely available third-party bot service that operates off of LSL script commands, and it can potentially automate many tasks that an avatar can do. It just requires someone to create the scripts to run it, which can be a time-consuming task, but they do provide some basic scripts that you can use to get started. So I can give you more information on that later if you're interested. You can contact me through IM. In the admin Skybox, there's an object I created to notify the officers whenever a new avatar, meaning one that's 1 day old or less, comes onto the sim. And we do this because, as many of you know, newly created avatars are sometimes used for griefing purposes, so we want to be aware of them just in case. On the right is a sim tool. It's one I did, but it was really very simple to do. But it shows sim's health, basically. It shows the last time it was restarted, sim second life channel, and version information. This is information that may be useful if we need to contact Linda Labs about sim issues, although that may not be the main reason, but that's available if we need to do that. And to help maintain that sim health, we do restart the sim automatically every night at 12 a.m. SL time. And we do this with the aid of another Chord bot, one that we've made into an estate manager, which is necessary to perform sim restarts. We then have two scripted objects that communicate with the bot. The one on the left tells it to restart the sim at the specified time. And the one on the right will then teleport the bot off of the island before the sim restarts, so we don't have to worry about it going offline. The bot then automatically returns when the sim's back up. Yeah, we can only hope for that. And finally, I'm going to talk about a few specialty tools that I created for special purposes. These tools are placed at locations where they're needed around the sim. All of these tools use one of the Chord bots to accomplish their task. The Build Enable tool lets program hosts temporarily enable build for all on the parcel. This is useful for certain programs, such as building classes when scheduled, or the Octagon Improv, which requires audience members to build. The program host must tell the object for how long to enable building, anywhere from 1 minute up to 2 hours. The object will automatically disable building at the end of the specified time. And the other two objects pictured here work in a similar way. The red one allows the program host to restrict parcel access for a specified time frame. for everyone except those explicitly allowed. And the third object, which I've just deployed, allows the program host to turn off the voice for everyone on that parcel for a specified time. So during a concert, during Ari's piano, those sorts of things. It can be turned off and then turned back on the rest of the time. Right. Yeah, these are all settings that normally only somebody with officer status could do, but these give the program hosts the same abilities with some restrictions. So just to help out where it can. And if you have questions about any of these tools later, please IM me. And my SL name is Francisco Koolhoven. I'll be glad to help, explain whatever I can. Hopefully, maybe I can be of some help in helping you set up something when I have time to do it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to turn the program over now to Thuja, our Associate Director for Inspiration Island. Thank you, Thuja. Good luck.
Thank you, Francisco. You are so creative. Your tools help Inspiration Island function effectively and safely. Fran's visitor counter scans the region every 2 minutes and collects an enormous amount of data. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Currently, we have designated 66 destinations in the region, including both facilitated and self-guided activities. Let me go back to that. These two lists we have posted around the sim. One is facilitated and the other is self-guided. So 66 of these that support our mission of well-being in body, mind, and spirit. Those are listed on this slide. As Francisco mentioned, these attractions are distributed over more than 4 levels on the region, from sea level, or actually below sea level, all the way up to 4,000 meters. That's a lot of space, and that's a lot to keep track of. So again, his tools are invaluable for tracking that. Yep, I think our lowest point is the abyss, which you should visit. I've mapped the 3D virtual space of that region all the way up to 4,000 meters for each of these destinations so that we can accurately track visitor traffic. I use Google Sheets to analyze the data and prepare periodic summary reports for administration. And I'll go to the next slide here. Inspiration Island receives about 1,200 unique visitors each month. About a third of those are new to the region. Shown is one chart I generate to show both the changes over time and the ratios of new to returning visitors. I hope that's resonating for everyone. We also like to know what interests returning visitors compared to the new ones. So in this chart, the red part of the bar is new visitors and the blue part of the bar is returning. So I think about 30% of our visitors are new to the region or new to Second Life. Okay. This table shows displays the popularity of our top destinations. In this case, I think I chose the top 10 destinations according to 5 measures. You know, that's very observant of you, Ziri. The end of the year was less than a week. And so that last week, I'll just go back to it. There's a spike. So you're right, but it's also because that's more than 7 days of counting. So both things happened. It is the holidays when we had a spike, but it's also a long week at the end of the year that was counted here. That's why. Good observation. You guys are sharp. Okay. So back to this table of measuring the popularity of our destinations. The 5 categories this table correlates traffic by include visitor hours, total visits, visitor hours, unique visitors. A unique visitor is one who is counted once in the period, only once. Currently, my analysis period is quarterly. It's 3 months. Okay. Yes, you can cam into this table. I realize it's a little hard to read from a distance. Visitor hours, unique visitors, visit duration, which is how long people stayed at the destination. And that's a really interesting measure. I think you may have observed on your own Sims that some visitors come and view things for a minute or two and then move along. So visit duration is an important measure of popularity. And the last category that this table displays is newcomer landing. I started doing this about 6 months ago, I guess, now, and we consider it really important because it indicates that newcomers are finding out about Inspiration Island somewhere, and where they land initially at the island gives us a clue about what channel directed them to the island. Excuse me for extemporizing here. I have little doubt that what a place is named is absolutely key to attracting visitors. And there is no substitute for a friendly, compassionate host when one visits. And you can see some of the names of our attractions here. They're pretty engaging. Curie-Eye's Floating Gallery is, without question, one of the top destinations, and that attracts a lot of people. Theater of Ideas is an engaging name. One of these that has a lot of traffic because of the programs that happen there is, let's see, what's one of those? Broadman Spring. We have a weekly program with a doctor who interacts with people to explain how the brain works and functions with a giant interactive brain at that site. So that has a lot of traffic, largely because of his work here with us. Yep. Okay, let's move along here. Other obvious reasons for traffic include scheduled events at these destinations and advertising, but several other forces may be at play in Second Life as well, including word of mouth and networking. Okay, next slide here. This is a fun kind of chart. E-publishing is no longer on the sim. It was the last counting period, and you can talk to Liz about what was there and where it might have moved to. Thank you for asking about that, Sidearm. Okay. Just as to interject here, one of the challenges of visitor analysis is that our destinations do change. They come and go, and they change location in the sim. So it's part of my job to keep this updated. And it's a collective job. We meet and we say, where is this thing now and what's happening and what changed? And we all try to stay on the same page about these 66 destinations. Spreadsheets and stats are great, but pictures can convey really what's really happening in a much more concise and interesting way. This bubble chart displayed now on the slide viewer is a multivariable representation that visually correlates the traffic of new avatars with our advertising efforts at the ground level of the sim. So this actually would be 3 spatial variables plus a variable of the traffic count plus a variable of the advertising of that destination. So in this particular bubble chart is a 5 variable chart. And you can add more. I could add text to it, for example, to include another variable of information about the destination in question. The circle size in this bubble chart represents relative traffic, and the color depth of each circle indicates the number of channels on which we advertise the destination. Those channels include SL events, SL destinations, monthly paid SL parcel search listings, Facebook, virtual inspiration island.com, and several others. In the lower right of the chart, you can see one of our most popular destinations, which is the 3D maze by Almost There Inventor. And its color is pretty dark, but it's not as dark as it can be. It's an interesting thing that it may be one of our most popular destinations, but it will stay that even if we relax some of our advertising, I think. It's just very popular in Second Life overall. Top center of the chart, you'll see Brodmann's brain, which I mentioned earlier. Rodman's brain saw less traffic than it deserved last quarter. We increased its presence on the web since then, and that has indeed increased traffic there significantly. So a tool like this is really easy for us to comprehend and to act on. Yes, so very good point. As administrators, we do a lot of advertising, but it often really helps when our collective member advertises also, and they may have other channels that we don't use. So the more, the better. There's no substitute for networking individually. Yeah. Well, he's a very brilliant person. He has another game up at our games area that is, I think he calls the world's most frustrating game, and it's I think it's no problem for him to do, but he's one of those super brain types. Yeah. Okay, let's move along here. Clear and surprising patterns emerge from data analysis, illustrated by this chart, which shows the number of destinations visited as a function of avatar age, which is the time since they created their account. Now, this may not be meaningful to you, but the high points of the red line and the high dots indicate a large number of destinations visited by that avatar, by those avatars. And the low points of the red line and the low blue dots indicate a lower number of destinations visited. This continues to fascinate me as a correlation. And one of the things it shows us, data supports the conclusion that new avatars and new visitors really do explore more. And that's the far left tail of the red line. Overall, however, the most active bracket of residents opened their Second Life accounts about 14 and a half or 14 to 15 years ago. That is the population who are most engaged with us overall at Inspiration Island. There's a lot more I could say about this, but I'll move along. Yes, good point. Lissena can call upon all of these analyses in her grant writing. That's right. Okay, let me move along to tools that engage. A large nonprofit project like Whole Brain Health is all about people, encouraging participation, self-expression, creativity, and social connections. That's a lot of hungry people at Pi Day. This snapshot was taken at our recent Pi Day celebration. Pictured here is Prowess Reina playing the piano and singing. She's wonderful, and she has agreed to perform regularly at Inspiration Island, and we're thrilled. And you can see some of the other participants, including our fearless leader. The setting of this is a Stonehenge-like circle of brilliant mathematical inventions by Emily Starbrook for Pi Day. And that is up for a month. So come visit our fairgrounds at ground level and explore Pi Stonehenge by Emily Starbrook. Wisdom's posterior. Smart ass. Our Hall of Heroes uses a simple tool to allow anyone to add images and note cards to celebrate their personal heroes. And Francisco has kindly res that for us here. This is our Who is Your Hero board, and I've added one hero to it already. Again, anyone can add an image and or a note card to the board. They don't have to be a member or in the group or anything. This has been a great success with very positive feedback. And you can interact with this one right now if you want. You can hold the control button and drag a texture to the board or drag a note card to the board about one of your heroes. And Lissena is definitely one of my big heroes. I like that picture of her very much. Upon requests from residents, I added 4 of these boards dedicated to Second Life heroes, and that also has been very popular. It's really nice that we can create a culture within Second Life that allows us to celebrate each other perhaps more deeply than we do in real life. Hero list. I should probably mention that I inherited Hero Walk from Quip Wilder, and it's what she gave me was a lot to work with, and I continue to try to be creative with it. Another interactive and fun gadget I placed around the sim, and that's pictured here, is the spinner. A visitor touches the arrow to give it random rotational impulse, and when it comes to rest at a color, it reads an inspiring statement from its library. And that's a really nice conversation starter, and it's surprising how many times that the spinner says something that is very timely for someone at the gathering. Oh, okay. I wish she had made it today, but she's not here. Okay. A similar tool which we purchased and deployed several places is the pin board. Anyone can contribute a thought, a music clip, a photograph, and more. I really like this tool. You can see that this particular pin board, which is at our tea house, the To Think Tea House, in the Multiple Intelligences park, that this pin board has been very popular. And there's one at the exhibit for this for VWBPE. So you can add your thoughts there too. Okay. It's really fun to see what people share and to follow up with them and get to know them. Oops. Francisco is resing now a wonderful note card Dropbox. Are you resing that now, Francisco? There we go. So just in front of me is the note card Dropbox. Any Second Life resident can simply drag a note card from inventory to the Dropbox. This tool emails us when there has been a submission, and we quickly follow up with the person personally. If she's completed one of our dozens of activities, we also award lindens for that. Specifically, one of our programs is the Journey to Wellbeing, which has a number of activities that people can complete all around the sim. This is a great tool, our note card drop box, and we have it deployed all over the region. And each box has a special name, so when it emails us, we know which one collected the note card. How are we doing on time? Guess we're pretty good here. Okay, I'll move it along here. At Drum Circle, we have a collective totem of animals and icons that people have suggested over time. It now displays more than 70 of these images, which are stationary particles. The centerpiece of Drum Circles is a wonderful stimulus for discussion and engagement. What is your favorite critter? Okay, moving along here. I'll abbreviate my talk if it's time to stop. It's okay. In addition to Francisco's region-wide navigation HUD, we provide several themed HUDs, which guide visitors to subsets of our, let me put that image up, to subsets of our destinations that may be of special interest. Some that are shown here are healthy living destinations, meditation retreats, cultural diversions, places that art lovers might like to explore, and science sites. And there are other of these that are available. Yes, I created these, but I was inspired by Francisco, who created the sim-wide navigation HUD. Okay. This helps to manage sometimes overwhelming selection of choices when exploring the island. You can pick up these themed HUDs at our Welcome Center, which also has a poster for each destination on Inspiration Island. And there's the SLURL for our Welcome Center. That's a good starting place if you want to visit Inspiration Island, is the Welcome Center. Lastly, we have resed one of the tools we are able to collect info from directly, and I'll ask Francisco to please res that quickly. Oops. That is our, and I'll just finish up here quickly. This one has been very effective. I think it's upside down. Yeah, very cool. It is the COVID vaccination survey. Up till now, we received, I think, more than 120 responses from people visiting Brielle's COVID resources exhibit at Health Hacienda on Inspiration Island. You all are welcome to add your responses to it now. The tool requires a moment to process each response, so please be patient if you want to respond to this. And I've been told that I need to finish up here, and our time has expired. So thank you very much for your attention. Great to see you all. Enjoy the conference. Come to Inspiration Island and tell us all about yourselves.